Due dates. You're having a baby. The next question that you're most likely asked is, when are you due? A date of finality, the moment when the baby meets the world. This has been ingrained in us from the moment that the cells divide. The stars even align to give our baby their zodiac sign. But what do due dates tell us? And what happens if we go past 40 weeks? There is a method to calculate a due date. The most common way to do this is you take the day of your last known menstrual period, you add 7 days, count back 3 months, and add a year. Wow, this is a complicated formula. If you had IVF, you may know the exact date of your conception, which means you might know a better date of your estimated due date. Nagel's method for calculating delivery was to mark down the date of your period, to add the 7 days, and then to count back 3 months and add the year. But this calculation method doesn't account for calendar months that aren't the same length. It doesn't account for leap years. And it certainly doesn't account if your personal period is not 28 days. The average length of pregnancy is 280 days or 40 weeks, counted from the first day of your last menstrual period. A pregnancy that lasts 41 to 42 weeks is considered late term, and a pregnancy that is beyond 42 weeks is considered post-term. With my second son, some random app calculator that I was using provided a due date of March 27th when I first entered the date. My first ultrasound showed that my baby would be due on March 20th. The 20-week ultrasound then showed that his due date would be March 21st. My son was born by spontaneous vaginal delivery on March 25th. An ultrasound often confirms an estimated due date, but it is still just that, an estimated date. According to multiple studies, if a baby is left to their own devices, they typically make their appearance 5 days after their estimated due date. And we want to share with you a few statistics that also apply to due dates. 50% of first-time birthers will spontaneously give birth by 40 weeks and 5 days. 75% of first-time birthers will spontaneously give birth by 41 weeks and 2 days. 70% of people will deliver within 10 days of their estimated due date, but only approximately 4 to 5% of women will deliver on their estimated due date. Without intervention, approximately 10% of pregnancies go past 42 weeks. If an estimated due date is just that, an estimate, why do we treat this date with such authority? Especially if 50% of women are delivering at 40 weeks and 5 days. Well, let's look at what ACOG says. If the mother and the baby are healthy, a pregnancy lasting until 42 weeks is safe. The date is viewed as the last possible date that your baby should be born. Even doctors sometimes will recommend induction around 38 or 39 weeks. 75% of women will give birth by 41 weeks and 2 days. And 10% of those pregnancies are going beyond 42 weeks. If others start to begin regarding your estimated due date as a deadline, we can think about leap years, months with 31 days, or your baby's conception date. And hey, if you're the type that pencils that in, you might have that information. In the meantime, the best advice that I was given as a first-time mom was to add 1 whole week to my estimated due date. That way, I could mentally prepare and I could relax without thinking that I was overdue or that there was a problem that I was getting to that 40-week stage. It's almost certain that you will not become the next woman to reach the longest pregnancy on record. In 1945, this was achieved by Beulah Hunter, who was pregnant for 375 days. We hope that talking about due dates today will give you a little bit of mindfulness when it comes to when your baby will be born. If you're striving for a spontaneous vaginal delivery, This information is really helpful to know because it's just natural to start getting tense, anxious, or worried if we've reached that 40-week date and our baby still hasn't arrived. If mother and baby are both low risk, there shouldn't be a compelling reason to get this baby out. Now, certainly there are other circumstances, and we respect those medical authorities who are giving you sound advice. But when it comes to due date, just remember, we don't talk about due dates. No, no. We don't talk about due dates. No, 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 no.